Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar. This is Greg Lewis, the Director of Marketing at MetaStock, coming at you from my basement, aka the temporary MetaStock studio. Today's guest host is Guy Cohen out of the UK. Today he'll be talking about trade beside the big money with OVI and MetaStock, and I will leave it to our host, Hunter Smith, to introduce Guy. We'll be starting here in about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, as you can see by the counter. And as you're coming on, oh, I forgot to click on chat so I can see who's coming in. I can see there's already some people signed in. Go ahead and say hello and tell me where you're coming from. And don't hesitate to ask any questions you like, either before the broadcast for the next 4 minutes or actually during the broadcast. If you're new to this, the way it goes is we're simulcasting on YouTube as well as GoToWebinar. So if you'd rather watch us on GoToWebinar, you can go over there now by going to metastock.com/webinar and registering for this event. It's pretty much the same experience. It doesn't matter to us. And also, a question we also get asked a lot. Anybody coming in yet? Nope. Another question we get asked a lot is this being recorded? And yes, it is being recorded right now on YouTube. So when you want to watch the recording of this, you can go back right where you are right now and watch it on YouTube. So a couple little quick things I wanted to cover before we start. One, we have gone ahead and extended one of our campaigns that was very popular for the last 2 months, and I'll show that to you right now real quick. Okay, this is the MetaStock 2020 spring event. You can see here that it has an opportunity. Oh, let me get where I need to go. You can save on upgrading to MetaStock, or you can save on purchasing MetaStock. Those are actually considerable deals there. Or you can, if you're interested in getting a MetaStock add-on, you can do that here as well. So it's a great deal. It's been on for about 2 months, and by popular demand, we've gone ahead and extended it 1 additional month. How you get there is you go to metastock.com/ADMM420. ADMM420. I can highlight it. Oh, yeah, see how I've highlighted it right there? metastock.com/ADMM420 if you want to save on MetaStock. All right, let's see how we're doing on the countdown. Oh, not there yet. We got about 2 more minutes. Boy, you got plenty of people who've logged in, but no one's chatting in to say hello yet. I wonder if my chat's broken. Anybody there? Somebody say hello. Well, I guess you're all being pretty quiet today. At any rate, we'll be starting in about 1 minute. I'll go ahead and mute myself, and we'll still no one's chatting. All right, I'll go ahead and mute myself and just listen to some jazzy music, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you. Okay, now I can see some people chatting in. Thank you. I see Kelly Clement. Hello, Kelly. Ben P says hello. Rohan Rawat says hi. Paulo Maura says hi, as well as Randolph Resch. Thank you so much. I do forget that there's about a 20-second delay for YouTube, so when excuse me if I'm not responsive to your response and I expect them too soon. So thank you all so much for chatting in. Again, we got about 40 seconds to go, so I'll get off the line and get over to, it looks like they're ready to go on the other end. So thank you so much again, and got about 30 seconds, so we'll get going.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webinar by MetaStock. My name is Hunter Smith. Very excited to be here today. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Guy Cohen, who will be talking about trading beside the big money. But before we get to our special speaker today, I just want to cover the legal stuff. This demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins. They're not recommendations to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of our software or any information provided in connection with the company. Now, today we have a very, very special guest, Mr. Guy Cohen. We have been working with Guy for, Lord, it's been a long time. It's been years now. We've been we were finally able to get his system put into MetaStock, the OVI system. It's a very advanced system, and he's an innovator in financial trading. He's a creator and originator of the unique OVI indicator. He is the best-selling author of Options Made Easy, the Bible of Option Strategies, Volatile Markets Made Easy, The Insider Edge, and the list goes on. So without further ado, Guy, can you hear me okay?
Pardon? Nah, just joking.
Hunter, you were muted the entire time. What was
exactly? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, doing well. As you know, a few changes here, going on. But yeah, doing well, doing well. And I'm assuming are we being recorded? So I think this is going to go out to people on the recording as well. I guess.
It is. We are being recorded. So we have to keep the curse words to a minimum.
Wonderful.
But it is live on YouTube and of course our audience here in GoToWebinar.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much for the very nice welcome. I'm just going to show my screen now, and that should be good for you guys. Can you see my screen? Just give me a little wave if you can. I don't know whether I can see you waving, but
yep.
Okay, cool. Well, if you guys are waving and you can see me, I'm just going to press on with what's on my screen. Now, I want to say thank you very much to my friends at MetaStock. They are just a great outfit. They're great people. They're one of the people who actually care about their traders, and that's reflected in the quality of the software and the improvements that keep on happening. And they're just really great, fun people to work with, and they're great people to work with. And I like working alongside people who care about who their members are. Now, just want to say one thing before I begin. You can actually see my screen. Can you not? It's the screen you can see as well as me on camera. Is that right?
Yes, it's you on camera, and then we have a slide. It looks like a slide that says webinar starting shortly and OVI traders.
Okay, great. Because I can't see that, but that's great. Okay, so. Well, it is just turned 10 o'clock in the UK, but everything I do is in the US. So let's just pretend we're all on the East Coast, shall we? So it's 5 p.m. there. Just a quick one for all of you guys at MetaStock. I have a little ebook for you. You may have been sent this already by the folks at MetaStock, but if you haven't got it yet, they can maybe put that in the chat box. www.ovi.to/MetaStock ebook. And Hunter, I think you have a link to that already, but that's a book that we wrote specifically for MetaStock with the things that we do and that you can use within the MetaStock platform, our plugin there. And you can contact MetaStock support as well for that OVI plugin into their great system. So as you've been aware already, tonight's little presentation is all about trading beside the big money with OVI traders in conjunction with MetaStock. So I'm very happy to be here. So got a couple of questions for you just to kick it off. What makes a stock price move? Now I can't necessarily see what you're saying. Let me see if I can. Actually, I might be able to. But just type in the chat box. What do you think makes a stock price move? And even though I can't see your answers, I'm just going to get right to the point. Obviously, we could talk about imbalances of demand and supply. That's typically what makes prices move. And you'd be correct. But ultimately, it's big money that makes prices move. If enough money comes in with enough aggression, so bids starting coming up above where the current offer price is, then prices will move up and vice versa. So it's not just big money, although that is a major component of it. It's also the aggression of that money. So people are desperate to buy something, they'll bid up a price. If they want to get rid of something quickly, they might bid down the price, and that's how prices move up and down. So given that it's big money that is a catalyst for price move, do you think it would be a smart thing to be able to follow where that big money is going? And obviously the answer is yes. If we knew where that big money was either about to go or was going at a time, would that be a great idea? It'd be a great idea because then we could latch onto it. So what you want to know is the markers of big money. And there are 4 main markers that I want you to write down, because this is the essence of everything I do. Everything I do can be boiled down into these things. And if you crack this, if you master this, you will be able to streamline your trading, to be far more profitable, far more successful, and get the job done much quicker and have much better clarity with what you're doing. And this is really a template for success in a way that uses huge intelligence, but in a way that is very little effort. And I think that's really a phenomenal thing. It's been a transformational thing for me, transformational thing for my members. And that's why, I have like an 80% repeat rate on my memberships and my events and stuff like that. So what we're talking about here is big stuff. It's important. And again, you're in the right place, with us in conjunction with MetaStock to take full advantage. So what are the markers of big money that we know moves prices? Well, first of all is news, things like earnings reports, etc. I'll go into that in a little bit later. But news is a catalyst for big money to pay attention and to make their own move, which will then move prices. So news events, earnings, Fed reports, those kind of things. The second marker of a big money potentially getting involved is volume, but it's not as easy and as straightforward as people might imagine. But of course, if large volume goes into a stock and it's buying volume and it's aggressive buying volume, then of course the price will have to go up. And if large volume is selling a particular issue and it's selling it below the current price, then of course prices will go down. It's common sense. So of course volume can be a marker of big money. Not enough to make you special and give you an amazing edge, but certainly not something that's terrible. The third marker of big money activity is crossing or resting above or below key levels. So what do we mean by key levels? We mean support, resistance, and we also mean other key levels like moving averages, those kind of things. But again, I want to be very, very careful with these. If you use all the moving averages that there are available, then you're not going to get very far. There's only literally 1 or 2 that are actually potentially important for us. The fourth big money marker is the most important. It's the most elusive, and it's the one that gives you the most probability. That's probably one of the reasons why, because it's elusive, it will give you that, because not many people have access to it. And that is options transaction data, leveraged money activity under the hood, which very few people either have or even fewer people know how to interpret. So these are the 4 big money markers that I use regularly with my trading to huge effect. So let's go through them one by one. Very quickly, I'm going to be very, very simplistic with this, okay? News, we're talking about earnings reports, we're talking about FDA reports, we're talking about Fed interest rates, employment reports, etc. That's what we're talking about with news. But mainly in all that, we're talking about earnings. For me, that's the big thing. That's the big catalyst for an individual stock to make its move. So that's the news stuff, and it's important. Earnings is something I make a very big deal of. It's one of my favorite times of the year. Volume. Well, we're talking about increased volume into a stock. So you might see it being a volume spike, but I'm not looking at volume spikes the way that most people look at them. Most people look at the volume spike as a potential reversal signal, potential, a contrarian indicator. I don't. And the reason I don't is because empirically it doesn't stack up as a contrarian indicator. It does stack up though, typically as a more continuation. So a volume spike, so if I give green volume spike and I'm then going to get some kind of consolidation, I'm very, very interested because that volume spike may well be an indication of institutional interest or large aggressive investor interest. So that's important to me. I'm also interested in volume as a contraction as well. Let's just take a situation where you have a big volume push as the stock price rises, and then you get a bit of sideways movement. You actually see it in PKI here. And as that happens, volume contracts. So what you've got here is that volume went up in this up move and then contracted in this sideways move here. What that means is this, that there is no more selling activity in this area. There's no buying activity either. But if the next move is up and volume starts to pick up again, then you know that this little volume contraction here was all because the sellers dried up. And when the buyers came back in town, there was no resistance. And that gave this stock the ability to push through short-term resistance and maybe into a long-term trend as well. But certainly enough to give us an interesting profit at quite a near point in time, P, or P1 as I call it, because I want to make my profits nice and quickly. I want to guarantee them nice and quickly. And then if it carries on going up, that's great. I'll manage it with my trading plan. If it doesn't, I've still made a profit. So volume is important, that volume increase and then the decrease during a consolidation. What about the key levels though? Well, of course, we talked about support and resistance. That can be short-term support, short-term resistance. And what support and resistance should you really use? Well, I think there's a couple of key points to this. Keep it simple, keep it obvious. Don't start looking at some really esoteric stuff that hardly anyone knows about because they're not going to be used. You want to be looking at the support and resistance that institutional types, that aggressive investors will be using. And that will also include moving averages of a sort, but the main one being the 200. The 200 is really the only one you need to properly know. Yes, once in a while, you'll get bounces off the 50 as well. So 2 moving averages are plenty. The 50 and the 200. And other little areas of support and resistance can be quite useful with consolidations and previous highs and lows. That's it. Nothing particularly complicated there. But here's the big one, options. Okay, options data. This is the one that very few people do, and the people that do it wrong. Now, here's the thing. Why is options transaction data so important? Because options conveys leverage. Those traders who are trading options in order to build positions in a stock are doing so with greater risk in order to make greater reward. They're prepared to put their neck on the line, or other parts of their anatomy for that matter, in order that they will make a bigger profit than otherwise they would do just buying the stock. So they're putting their money on the line, they're putting their neck on the line, they're putting everything on the line, and they're using the options with leverage. And also the other thing with options is it's a sophisticated instrument. So typically you're going to get, in large volumes at least, the more sophisticated players playing options. So now we know that within options transaction data, there are 3 main components. There's the volume, there's the open interest, and there's the implied volatility, the pricing of the option. And all 3 of those things combined can be rather useful. The problem is that most people, in fact, nearly everyone, only uses volume. Well, it isn't enough, because with volume, it could be buying volume or it could be selling volume. It could be not buying to open volume. It could be buying to close volume or selling to close volume. So it could be lots of different things that people just don't take account of. Now, what I've been doing over the last almost 20 years is collecting options data, analyzing options data, and doing things with options data that gives me a palpable edge. What I'm looking for specifically is wait for it. What I'm looking for specifically is position building activity. I am not looking for hedging activity. I am looking for position building activity, because then I know that people are undertaking risk, more risk than otherwise they would do, in order to benefit more and profit more when the stock goes in their favor. So leverage is important, as is the camouflage that they are getting. You see, if a stock price is 50 and a big institution comes in, they are, by dint of the demand that they are making in that stock, they're going to push that price up to say 55 or 60, and they're effectively going to be bidding against themselves and not getting the right price. However, if an aggressive hedge fund comes in and sees that stock at 50 and wants it, they can camouflage their activity with options and not be pushing up the underlying stock price. So they can get in at the price they want to get into and camouflage their activity accordingly and get the deal that they really want to do. That's why it's so important, the data, it's so useful, the data, because that stealth is actually creating an underlying, it's displaying, if you like, revealing an underlying demand that most of the market cannot see. And by following that, that is how we have our edge. That is, 90% of the edge we have. The rest is compiled with the other things that I just talked about, like the volume and earnings and the other levels, plus the trading plan. But this is the thing that gives me a very special edge. This is what I've been doing for many years, and why my members are just so loyal to this. So what are the big markers? What are the markers of big money? Again, in order: options, transaction data, news events as a catalyst, key levels, and also volume of the underlying stock. These are the key things. And if we get this right, you will be following big money, and you'll be riding on the coattails of big money to make big money. And that's what we do. Here was PerkinElmer, PKI, only recently. I actually tweeted this because it was such a good setup. So, I'm not in the business of giving specific advice. I show you exactly what to do. If you were to look at a chart and say, what is a good stock chart? This is it. This is it. So take a screenshot of this, make a poster of it, and say, when I find stuff like that, I'm going to trade it. Now, let me show you in order why this is so special, and then we'll go and have a look at some stocks in the market right now. First of all, you'll notice this blue indicator. When it's blue and consistently blue, that means that options traders are generally bullish about a particular stock. They're bullish in terms of their activity of buying and selling. They're also bullish in terms of the pricing of those options. That's what's built into the indicator. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But this is number one, okay? So you can see that there's bullishness. The second thing we looked at is the news. Well, we've just had an earnings report in early May, and guess what happened? The price shot up. It shot up and then went sideways. That was great. When it shot up, also within this area was big volume as well. So we can see lots of buying activity because that volume is largely green, especially the big spikes. So that's our third one. And the fourth little giveaway of big money being potentially about to be interested, because they're already interested. We can see they're already interested with the blue because they're already involved. We can see the catalyst with the earnings situation. We can see that there's money pouring in, but there's something else. More money may well pile in because this thing has just popped above its 200 moving average. It's consolidating there. We already know that money's pouring into the options on this one. So the next move up could be a very high probability move. And of course it was. I mentioned it literally on Friday there, the 22nd. That happens to be the day that my daughter was born. So literally I was in the hospital on my iPad mini, literally this little thing here, looking at my, well, there it is, there you go, looking at my little charts and thinking, that's nice. I think I'm just going to show people what I'm up to. And this has been the result since. A really simple, clean, easy profit. So these are the big markers, or these are the markers of big money, all revealing themselves, all at the same time, and all giving us a real heads up as to what to do. And obviously that's been a pretty good trade. So that is really encompasses nearly all of my ethos when it comes to trading, following big money, using the intelligence of options transaction data that only I have, but also news and key levels and volume as well. So what's the one thing that can make all the difference between a successful trader and the rest? It's having that superior information and obviously timing. And I also ought to say here, plus a plan, a really good plan, a proper trading plan. Okay, so what is the information we're looking for? Well, it's all about options transaction data. These are my two professors when I did an MBA 24 years ago, 23 years ago. How scary is that? But both of them, without going into a big story of it, both of them separately said, if you want to make big money in the markets, follow what the options traders are doing. Now, they said it kind of as a bit of a joke. It's very difficult to know what the options traders are actually doing, but I made it my business to do exactly that. I took it seriously. And the guy on the right made millions in trading. The guy on the left was a real sort of nerdy professor type who didn't, but they both said the same thing. Interesting. And it's from what they said that steered me on a journey that takes me to where I am now, where my algorithms are running millions of dollars every single day for professional money managers. So when you get to speak to people or when you get to go on a webinar like this, you won't find anyone who's actually with their algorithms managing millions and millions of dollars in the market literally every day with their own algorithms. And I had that education from a top business school in London, right in the heart of the city, the equivalent of Wall Street, Cass Business School, 1996, 97. Today, that MBA would cost me $57,000 for just 1 year. And it's still a bit cheaper than Harvard, though, has to be said. But still, pretty big money. It was $15,000 at the time. But the big thing is this. They didn't even teach me what I'm about to teach you now. They just gave me the seed of an idea, the germ of an idea. Follow the options traders. Obviously, putting that into effect has cost millions and millions of dollars of R&D for me. But boy, you look at the result. From there, I'm now actually managing money for professional clients and with them as well. It's pretty amazing stuff. So those successes funded the research, and there you go. Let's go and see what this is all about. This is an options chain, or actually a fraction of an options chain in Apple, right? And that's what I've done with it. I've taken all those options and I've made an indicator that's so simple that when it's in the red area, under zero, so it goes from a minimum of -1 to a maximum of +1. When it's in this area, we know that options traders are typically looking bearish. And when it's in this area, in the positive, when it's blue, we know that options traders are by and large more bullish. And it's revealing what high stakes professionals are doing. And that's the advantage we're giving, because this is all under the radar. This is all under the hood. So the indicator is called the Options Volatility Indicator, or OVI. And this is what gives us our edge. So here's a stock, overstock here. And all you have to do is just look at what the OVI is doing and just guess what the trend is. So on the left, we have it mainly negative, not amazingly negative, mainly negative. And of course, the trend of the stock is down. On the right of the chart, the second half of the chart, it's mainly positive. And guess what? That's correlating nicely with the stock price movement as well. It helps give us the general direction the stock price is more likely to go in, and different stocks react slightly differently. It's a bit like the weather. We take raw data, billions and billions of rows of it, and we turn it into something that can be used. So with the weather forecast, it's really good probability that it's going to be usable and it's going to be pretty accurate. And it's the same with what we do. We take raw data from options transaction market data and we turn it into this very simple indicator, which is like no other, which gives absolutely high probability, proven by independent analysts, used by professional money makers, and it gives us useful information. And only a few people in the home-based trader market actually have it. We don't make a big song and dance about things. And so this is potentially a chance for you tonight to look into it and see if you want to use something like this. Again, here's PerkinElmer very recently. And again, this marker here is the big thing. This is what the main filter I use is for. I use to see whether that's happening. And then if the other things are happening as well, I've got 4 indications of big money. I know big money's in there. Look, they had earnings right, didn't they? Look at this. The big money starts before earnings in late April. And look, we get the earnings bump there. But the lower risk entry point is actually going to be after earnings, after this consolidation. And then we can see the big volume coming in. We can see it's passed through that 200-day moving average as well. We can see the consolidation as well. So we've got all those markers there just saying this is so easy to buy. We really would be crazy not to do that. Now, it's gone up so far in just a few days, week and a half, 12%. But with deep in the money options, if you can get those, or even a synthetic, you could be getting 73% return on that, no drawdown whatsoever. So $1,950 already at $3,375 for those September options. So how do you get the timing right? Well, you need to have a proper trading plan as well, which I won't go into right now, but I do have a 4-step trading plan, which spells EDGE. I'll just tell you very briefly what that is. The E is all about control. It's about how you control your trade from start to finish, starting with entry. So E is for entry. But an entry encompasses not only when you're getting in, but also your initial stop loss as well to protect you protect your trade. Now, the D part of your trading plan is critical. The D part is where most people fail. Most people are looking for unrealistic profit potential from their trades. The secret is look for a very conservative profit potential. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about defending your profits as they come, protecting them. And that's super, super important. Most people are too aggressive. You want to be very conservative with that. I have a plan for that. The next part is this, though, of your plan. What if the stock keeps on going or keeps on growing? Well, you need a plan to stay in because you don't know without the benefit of hindsight whether it will do that. So you have to do the defending the profit bit to make sure that a profit does not turn into a loss, but you also want to be in for the ride if there's going to be a ride. You need a plan for that. And the entire plan is enshrined in empirical evidence. Okay, that is critical, and I'm one of the only people out there who has any quants working for them. I have a team of quants working for us. I have proof in all kinds of directions, and obviously we run money now for professional money managers as well. So these are the 4 stages of a trading plan that you must have, and I won't go into it now because I think we're going to have some fun in a minute and go and have a look at some stocks that are exhibiting great stuff right now. But what you want to have is a situation where you can repeatedly find the opportunities and then repeatedly execute the same plan with low risk. That's it. And that way it becomes a game that you can dominate and be very, very useful at. Now, just a little bit about me, my 24-year journey in trading right now. I have my software has been licensed to New York Stock Exchange for 9 years. I licensed it therefore. I did data analysis for the International Securities Exchange. I was educated at Cass Business School in finance, and also have made multiple times of thousands of dollars of returns in the market using these tools. Featured on all kind of media as well, written loads of books, as Hunter said. So we don't need to go into all that. That's just all vanity stuff. Just so you know a little bit about me. This is, this was my family until just a few days ago. Let's just go through who they are. This is my firstborn, Zippy, my standard long-haired dachshund. I could do an entire webinar about standard long-haired dachshunds. Let me just tell you, they're the cutest things, the sweetest things, most wonderful natures, and as you can see, really, really cute looking too. This is my secondborn. This is Monty. He's now 3 2/3 years old, and a very, as you can see, extremely lovely and cheeky little boy. And this is my new daughter, literally from a couple of days ago. So she's only, what, 10, 11, 12 days old right now. So as you can see, I am a grandpa dad to 3. They're going to keep me young while making me old with the lack of sleep. But here's the main point. What trading enables me to do is I'm working right now at 10 o'clock at my home at night. My kids are around me, my family's around me. As soon as this is done, I'm going to go cuddle my dog. I can say goodnight to my little daughter, etc. I can do this from home. I can do this from anywhere. I can do this on my iPad, from a cafe, once they open cafes again, or on holiday. I've even done it on a chairlift, that is Make Trades. from the tools that I have built. So what trading gives me is flexibility. It gives me the ability to be around my family, which is the most important thing for me. So just, why you're trading, I'm sure you've pretty much got the same thing. You're all MetaStock people. And there are people from all walks of life from every country who have made hundreds of thousands of dollars using our stuff. Collectively, millions of dollars have been made. Collectively, thousands and thousands and thousands of percentage gains have been made from men, women, old and young alike. So I won't go into all that. But the main thing is this: I am a pretty accessible guy, and a lot of my members actually become friends. We go out, we have coffees. I am someone who wants my people to succeed in a big way, and many of them do. And even writing nice things on WhatsApp messages for me as well. So just to give you kind of a sense of who I am and what I am standing for, the opportunities that I like to look for and I can find with literally a few clicks on a mobile device or using MetaStock are these, where I have a persistent positive OVI showing me large investor leveraged position building going on that I can then take advantage of with ease and with stealth and with very, very, with high probability. So here's a 19% move in Apple going to 117%, $2,000 into $4,500. MuleSoft was a beauty. Just look at the thing. I haven't taught you very much tonight. I haven't needed to, but here's earnings. Here's the big OVI. Here's the pop-up at earnings. Here's there. You just don't see the moving averages or anything, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's there. There's the consolidation, and there's your big profit right there, which ended in a takeover by Salesforce. 50% with the stocks meant 126% on those options, 2,500 into 5,500. It goes the other way as well. Here's LB Brands, again, not long ago, gapping down at earnings, but guess what? Does it work the other way around? It sure does. So this is the OVI in negative territory. So institutions, large investors are getting rid of this with leverage, okay? They're selling with leverage. And then it created opportunities for us there. So again, 23% move down in LB created an 88% move with very conservative deep in the money options. Again, $2,700 into $5,000. And this is one of my favorites of all time. A few years ago, this one now, but just to show you this has longevity to it. It's not just what's happening today. And it's not just what's happening 10 years ago. It's happening all the time. This was one of those ones that you just love and cherish forever. Here's the earnings right there. Here's the institutional leveraged activity. Here's your little setup and your consolidation and another one, and there's your 60-odd% rise in the stock, or 4.5 bagger for the options, the deep in the money options. So $2,800 goes into 12,740. So you get the picture of what we're able to do. And this is advanced micro devices as well, another big one, which did it twice. Here's one, here's another, two big triple baggers on this one for the options, making for a sensational amount of trading gains. And so easy. It's all you have to do is find one setup, if you like, and you're home and away. So why don't we look at some stocks? Let's go do it. So let's now whiz into the actual charts. Now I'm going to show you my charts right now. Now I'm just trying to see what's happening here. I've got one chart there, and let's have a look. What is that one? That's another one. I don't know why that's there, but anyway, let's do that. Now, what I want to show you is this. I'm going to go into my private club area. Okay, this is my OVI private club. It is mobile optimized, so you can use this on a tablet or on a mobile phone. Tablet's very comfortable. And in my OVI private club area, I have many different tools. Now, one of the tools I have is this thing called the dashboard. This dashboard shows me various things. It shows me what the sentiment is from an OVI perspective. I won't go into that just now because I haven't got much time. But it also shows me various indicators that I've built that show you what the market is doing. So with 1 month trend, it shows me I've got green pies. The size of the pie matters, because that's a relative situation compared to the rest of what's happened over the last year. And of course, the color of the pie matters. So it's saying we're in an uptrend right now over 1 month and 2 months, pretty overwhelming. Flags are another continuation setup that I deem important because they give me an easy trading plan. So it's also showing that most flags out there in the market presenting themselves according to my algorithms are bullish, hence green. Flags plus OVI, again, overwhelmingly green. And OVI on its own, again, overwhelmingly green. And I have some other little pies in there that I won't go into, but of course, earnings are two of them, before earnings and after earnings. Right now, we are in the after earnings area part of the market. Obviously, we had earnings in April, and therefore we can see that in the post earnings environment, most stocks that have had a post earnings setup are in the bullish zone, which is obviously correct. Okay, so that's my dashboard. This is just your 30,000 foot view of the market in an instant. Very, very useful. Now, what I've done today is I've produced some stocks for you that I've just searched for using my tools, and we're just going to go through them, and let's go and have a look and see if there's anything that's particularly interesting in this. I'm going to start with AAP. I'm just going to do this, sorry, pressing the wrong button. And again, you can do this on a mobile device, or you can use it on MetaStock as well. MetaStock has the OVI as well, and you can use the MetaStock search filters as well. But let's whiz through very, very quickly just a few stocks. So with this one here, AAP, I found this one. You can see OVI is positive. You can see volume is shrinking there as the stocks consolidate. This is an end of day chart. The great thing about MetaStock is that you'll be able to see this on a current day chart. I know this is end of day from yesterday, not today. Obviously, it takes a couple of hours to us to do our algorithms and put the data on, but you can see why I will be looking at that one. I've got a couple of beauties for you that are still setting up even after today. Here's Accenture, has done super well. Look at what's happening. That's happening. That's good. It's past that 200-day moving average. It's actually gone through it. So this is one we found a few days ago, and it's doing rather well. ADT, the security firm, love this. Look at what happened. I put this up this weekend. That's good. That's good. Little consolidation above the 200 and pop. Away she goes. Easy profit right there from my traders this weekend. From my review. That's, by the way, something I also do as I do a weekly review. AMCR, pop up, 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 up. Let's go, let's just give you a few more. You get to see what I'm looking at specifically. AMRX pops up at earnings, consolidates. OVI picks up, consolidates. Above that 200, we've got potential here for something decent to go on. It could be done with a bit more volume, but okay. Next one, ANGI. Just see what I'm doing. Just get good at one thing. If you can get good at one thing, you'll make money. Here's ANGI. Look at this. Earnings. Up it pops through that 200. Consolidates. OVI. Off it goes. Easy profit. And these are stuff we've been doing or we'll be setting up as we speak. And some of them I'll show you tonight are setting up, and some of them have already popped. APO. Again, see the situation here. Little consolidation already on its way. Big volume as well. The big money markers are there. Focus on the blue OVI for the big money marker. This is Ball Corp. Now, what I like about this one is OVI is picked up, volume is picked up, it's gone through that 200, needs to consolidate. That will give us the safe entry for our edge trading plan. But that's there now, waiting to consolidate, waiting for the setup to form, and then we might well want to be into it if it forms. BX, another winner. Let's have a look at this. Here we go. Already on its way. So here, earnings was actually way back, but here we've got one consolidation, two, and it's already up again with that hidden money that no one else can see. Remember, this stuff here, no one can see unless you're in my system or we've got MetaStock, who have got it as well. CG, again, look at the hidden money, rising there, consolidating, potentially another one there. Cisco, gotta like it. Let's have a look. Cisco is consolidating. Look at the big money pouring into Cisco that no one is seeing. No one sees that. And yet, later on down the track, we get a little bit of volume there. We get a little consolidation. This is setting up. If it breaks out, it could be one of ours. CVET. Hopefully, I can't see it, but I'm hoping you're liking this because it's slightly unusual for someone to show stocks in a webinar like this. But again, rumbling hidden money, all that. Then we've got earnings. Then, and the hidden money, by the way, look at this. They've got it right, haven't they? In here, they've got it right. They guessed earnings right. Consolidates after, pops up more. Easy stuff. And there's the 200 as well. Okay. Big money there. Just give Hunter a wave if you see the markers of big money going into this stock. Starting with this, then the pop up at earnings, then, well, you actually got 3 there, then the crossing of the 200. Volume is okay. We could do a bit better, but that's fine. We've still got green bars bigger than the red bars there. So you see why it's gone up. And that's why I'm giving you some that have already popped and some that may pop. This is Caesars Entertainment. Again, the money started to flow in. And obviously we're looking for a specific setup. So you'll see other times where it looked to be flowing in, but it could have been hedging, or could have been other things. We have to still have a trading plan in this. DISH, let's have a look at that. I want to whiz through as many of these as I can. Look, OVI, hidden money, starting to clock in. It's consolidated, now it's popped through the 200. Now it needs to consolidate again. A bit more volume would have been good. There's better ones out there. Now, Globus Medical, GMed, still consolidating, not ready yet, but look at all that big money there. Before earnings, and then what happened after earnings? It pops. So it's now in the middle of a big consolidation, big volume. The markers are there. This just needs a bit of time to bubble up and then make its move. Hasbro Toys, how's that going? Well, that's below the 200. So that's one I wouldn't just do yet, but it looks like it is on the way, to be fair. I'm watching that for a bit later. That's one to wait and see. Home Depot, though, and Lowe's, the home improvement stores, we've been onto this for some time. Look at when the big money started to flow back in April. Pops, goes. Earnings pops, and then still goes as well. There it is, big volume as well. So on its way up. Look at Lowe's with that one. It's a similar stock. Even better, look at this. Big money flows in April. There it goes. But our safe entry point is after earnings, pops up, consolidates, up she goes. Because we're looking at safe entry points. We're not gamblers here. Next is Hologic. Been into that a lot, but it's actually forming now a long consolidation. So this would be very interesting to see what happens. But actually, look at this. Big money comes in right near the bottom, and there's loads of areas to get in. This one here was our one, and a quick pop. Since then, it's gone a bit sideways, but we still were able to make a quick profit on that one. INFO, by the way, the best is yet to come, so keep on hanging in there as I go through these. You see how quick it is. Info, the interesting thing about this is the big money flows in, a little bit of volume there. Now it's popped through that 200. Now it needs to consolidate. This could be really interesting. KDP, there's Dr. Pepper. Again, doing the same kind of thing. Lots of volume, needs to consolidate, gone through that 200. Okay, I'm just looking at one thing over and over again. I'm getting really good at one thing. LKQ, just popping through now, needs a bit of time. So I'm going to have it on a watch list. Okay, it's one of the functions I have. Lockheed Martin, just popped through. Let's have a look. Just popping through. Hidden money in, could do with a bit more green volume, to be honest. Might be, so I need to see that. I just want to just see how that goes, monitor it for a few days. MasterCard, a great leading stock. How is it faring? Well, guess what? It's starting to creep up. It's been creeping up, of course, for a while, but I'm looking at low risk entry points, and now I might be able to get one. Okay, hidden money's there. A bit more volume could have been good. Maxar, M-A-X-R. If you click your mouse over it, by the way, Maxar Technologies. Look at what's happened here. Big money, good earnings, good volume through the 200, and there's a tiny consolidation there. But some of my members have actually been onto this one and are doing rather well. So you see why that's in there. That could consolidate again. Monster is a monster. Have a look at this. Again, look at the markers. Pops up at earnings, consolidates, OVI picks up. That's now hidden money. Few decent volume bars, off she goes. So if you're seeing the beauty of doing one thing super well and focusing on it, then I'm getting through. This is MXIM. Good green volume bars, good hidden money after nothing, volume consolidation, and then up she goes. Might be worth watching in the future for that one. NEWR, you get the picture, but let's have a look. Marker 1 is hidden money. Great. Marker 2, earnings popped up. Marker 3, big volume. Marker 4, 200-day. And look what happened. Up she goes. Nike next. I wish I could see you waving because I'm hoping you're getting excited by this. This is just a game changer that you're seeing here. Nike just needs to, there's a consolidation there and it's popped. But again, look at this. Volume could have done with a bit more volume, but that's okay. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, is next. Well, this one was already brewing for quite some time. Here was the consolidation that could go, and then it popped. It's gone sideways, and it's still good for something potentially if it can break out some more. So again, watching that one. PKG has just popped through the 200, which is nice. They actually consolidated around it with a persistent positive OVI, showing what leveraged investors are doing. Could do with a bit more volume here, though. They haven't caught up yet. PKI, brilliant one. I mentioned this one a little while ago. I showed you this one already, but look, everything is there. Everything is there on this one, and up she goes. Planet Fitness, interesting one. I got many stories about this one, but look, OVI picks up, volume picks up. It's gone through now. We need a consolidation, but there you go. It's waiting. So some of the ones I'm showing you aren't yet ready for a very low risk entry, but they're doing great already. So some of them I said had already happened or were making profits, and some of them we're waiting for. PNR looking interesting. Good OVI, consolidating above that 200. A volume a little bit amiss, so a question mark or two against that. PayPal's already gone. PayPal already set sail, but look at it. Okay, it did it. It went through OVI, big volume, earnings, and they actually went up even after that too. So good stuff for there. RDFN, I'm just showing you a bunch that we've been onto or looking at recently, but look at this. RDFN, OVI picks up, earnings pop up, consolidation pop through. All the markers are there, 200-day moving average, all there, all there. And the thing that makes the difference is the OVI each and every time. Here's Roper Technologies. Okay, just a little change here. Look, nothing for months. Now a little bit of interest, lots of decent volume, pops up above the 200, consolidates, off she goes. Again, all enough for a quick and easy profit, and there might be more to it. Run, here we go. Just popped up through, on its way, could consolidate again. Let's just monitor it, but you see the same markers there. Next one, T Rowe Price, on its way. Okay, a little bit of action there. Could be better on the OVI, but again, you see the action, and obviously off it goes. Tractor Supply, TSCO, another one we've been banging on about for a long time. Look at this. It's perfect. All that hidden money, some good green volume bars, but look, pops up through, consolidates, gap up after earnings, consolidate through that 200, persistent blue OVI, there she goes. And again, we've been on about that. We can find these things in seconds, and it's so important. Viacom is looking potentially good now. It's looking like it's going to be an interesting one. It's all below the 200 at the moment, but still looking good. But you could just wait until it does that. This could be something you go and put on a watch list. Okay, Workday. Down a bit today, last time I looked, but setting up nicely. Hasn't broken out yet, but look, the markers are there. Popped up at earnings through the 200, massive, really good OVI, consolidating. It needs to pop through that, and we won't trade it until it does that. But it's looking interesting as a setup. Just say yes if you see the setup. Just a couple more. XPO. I think you're getting the message now. And again, we find these things at will.
So people are waving and saying yes in YouTube.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. And here it is again, XPO setting up. Look, hidden money. No one else sees this apart from my people and MetaStock people. This is the, Hunter knows about this, and Jeff and all the guys there. This is real privileged stuff. No one can see this stuff apart from those guys and me. Or those guys and my guys, and a lot of those guys and my guys are the same guys anyway. But then look, setting up hidden money. It's just really, really cool. This can be your main trading thing. And then there's Zoom But you're saying, but Zoom, it's zoomed off. Well, it did, but look at this. Back in February, pop up, big OVI, consolidation, boom. Okay, we were on to that already by then, before all this big hullabaloo blew up. Okay, so I hope that that's been reasonably useful. What I want to just do now is just finish off, just showing you kind of what we've got there. I hope you enjoyed that because that was really, really cool. All the stuff you just seen is available on a mobile device to look for stocks, to look at charts, and to do all the other bits and bobs. So that's just to show you this beautiful stuff. Always making improvements. We make releases regularly, and we're in a real accelerating phase right now. So what's in the OVI Private Club, or the OPC? Well, we have various tools like the dashboard I showed you. We have what's called the OVI Sentiment Indicator as well, that shows you what's going on from an OVI perspective across the entire S&P 500. The charts, you've just seen a bit of that, but MetaStock do charts as well. We have a watch list functionality, so you can keep all your favorite stocks in a watch list, import and export those, and have as many as you like. We also do reversals. Is a stock doing this? For example, a stock rising, but then doing a steep retracement, maybe hitting a moving average, maybe the OVI as well is doing something here. This is another one of my great setups. We can do a consolidation off a reversal setup in anticipation of another move to rejoin the trend. Very, very powerful. And etc. More stuff. We also have a massive amount of training videos and guides for stocks and for options. That's my thing. And a community forum support. Let me just show you what I mean. Just let's whiz through the actual application. Remember, this is a mobile optimized application, so I can open up the window there or close the menu window there. But if I want to go in, let's just go and just quickly whiz through what's in here. You got this very, very nice website. There's more things to come, like an open ticker scrolling thing at the top that we're going to be introducing in the next few weeks. There's loads of things we're bringing in as well to make life easier, but we've got the video tutorials here. That's where you see me in an environment like this, teaching though in a very simple way. Again, mobile optimized. Here's the OPC tour, and then I talk about the OVI and flags and how to manage your trades, etc. All that good stuff in there in the video tutorial guides. Also, we've got the Training Vault guides as well. So in the Training Vault, we've just got lots of good written material and Q&A type stuff. And then we've got the Traders Toolkit. In the Traders Toolkit is where you will find OVI charts, the dashboard you saw earlier, the sentiment indicator, the reversal trade finder, also your watch lists where you can manage all your trades. You saw my watch list a little bit earlier. I just went through a watch list, but I can move stocks around, I can import and export, and I can even have a virtual trader application in there as well. And then we've got the forum. This is where you can join other people and chit chat. I like to make it constructive in that situation. Also, my support team that are dedicated to your success. We're really, really hot on support, like MetaStock in that respect. And then we've got the partners. And our only partner right now, because we like them so much, is MetaStock. So we choose our partners pretty fussily, and MetaStock was an easy one for us. And hopefully we weren't so bad for them either. So that's kind of what's in there. Again, mobile optimized, and really a really nice, lovely interface with more and more happening all the time. So you can take this when the cafe is open, to the cafe, to your boat, to wherever you're going, and just do it as easily as you like on a mobile optimized device. And the kind of people that succeed are men and women from all walks of life, all ages. This is Chloe, one of my stars, who now actually works for us as well. She was so good, we just said, look, come and work for us, which she does. She's in Kuala Lumpur, but she took an account from $3,000 into over $30,000 in just 18 months. She took 90 trades with an 84% win rate. Previously to this, she only had a 40% win rate. She has more than 10x'd her account now. Okay, that's the kind of thing. But there's loads of people, again, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece. Millions of dollars collectively have been made using the kind of things that I've been showing you. Some notable ones here. Here's Roger, almost $500,000, and etc. Several really big high flyers, but also the small account people as well, doing really well as well. So exclusive access to the OVI Private Club is normally at $197 per month. However, I know, so let me just rewrite that one. I know that Hunter has something up his sleeve. So normally $197 per month, and that also gives you the MetaStock plugin. So that's, I was write that in, MetaStock plugin for the OVI or OVI MetaStock plugin. $197 per month, and you get all those other things I just showed you. But Hunter, over to you, because I know you got something that you want to take over on this.
I do have something up my sleeve, yes. Wonderful presentation. Before we get to, actually, let's go ahead and cover the offer, and then we're going to cover a couple of questions, Guy, if you can hang around for a couple of minutes. Sure. Let me just change the screen back over. All right, I hope you all can see my screen. Okay, so the OVI in MetaStock is it's incredible. I mean, I love this add-on. It does work with optionable stocks, but the thing about it is you don't have to be an options trader to use it. Again, you know, what the OVI is very, very good for, even if you don't trade options, is to view what the options traders are actually doing and where that money is going. So it can be very powerful if you're just trading, you know, equities in the optionable stock. It does come with OVI colored volume. It comes with 2 indicators. It comes with 2 very, very easy to use explorations. The expert advisor, the add-on itself is very, very simple to use. You know, Guy went through, you know, probably 20, 30 examples there. It's the exact same thing within MetaStock, you know, when we do show it. Let's go to here. The OVI Private Club, some of the tools under there, and you know, sadly enough, we don't have a ton of time where Guy can actually show you everything that OVI Private Club does. But it's incredible. You know, I've been on multiple webinars with him and just chats over video calls, going through some of the features just within the site, and that's worth it, you know, alone. For MetaStock users, normally, like Guy said, it's $197 a month, but for attending the webinar for MetaStock users, we brought it down about $100. So you can actually get the OVI add-on as well as access to the OVI Private Club for $97 a month. So it's $100 off. Again, it's giving you full access to the tools that you saw here today. It gives you full access to the add-on that you saw in MetaStock, where you can go through and scan, you know, all optionable stocks, 4,300 stocks, just to get the OVI, either the bullish signal or the bearish signal. So Guy was very, very gracious in letting us do 100 off per month when everyone else is getting this for 197 per month. Now, the way that you get this, there are 2 ways. The first way is you can actually go to metastock.com/OVIAD. I apologize, the slide I have up right now says OVIA. Just add a D at the end of that. The easiest way to do it, I'll be honest, is just come into sales chat right now, metastock.com/sales chat. You can give us a call at 800-882-3040 and just tell them that you were on the webinar. Guy sent you in there, and they'll get you started with the $97 discount per month. So shameless little plug there at the end, but let's get towards let's get to a couple of questions. I know we had some coming through on YouTube. We had some coming through on GoToWebinar. So let's see if I can't pull that up. Okay, so a couple of questions in here from Rahul. Let's see here. How do we keep the positions when OVI dips and comes back up again? How long should we keep the positions?
Oh, okay, good question. So Raul, this is all contained in the trading plan. So remember I talked about the EDGE trading plan? This is the thing. Now you have to have a plan no matter what your particular advantage is. So you're talking about a stock that presumably has risen and then might have either retraced, so that's one scenario, or where the OVI has. The OVI is key for your entry part of the trade. Okay, once you're in the trade, then you're going to be managing it with my, with my initial stop that I show you how to make, and then defending the profits to make sure that a profit doesn't turn into a loss. So it's really a marker for getting in, and it might have an influence of how you manage that trade, how aggressively or defensively you manage that trade. But ultimately, once you're in, you're going to be focusing very significantly, because I'll teach you this in all my materials. You'll be focusing on the edge plan at that point. So once you get in, which is always going to be on a breakout from a consolidation, by the way. We're always looking at breakouts from consolidations, whether it's up or down. Once you're in the trade, now you're just going to be managing it according to my rules.
Yeah, and that's not, that's kind of part of the reason that we lump together not just the MetaStock add-on, the OVI add-on in MetaStock, but we also lump it together with the access to the Private Traders Club, because all of those types of resources, are inside that club, whereas you do your analysis through MetaStock and your scans, etc. He actually had another question. Most examples are about buying calls. Is the reverse equally true? Also,
oh yeah, I showed you L brands earlier. It goes the other way too. Now we just happen to be in a bullish cycle right now, but when you saw, I mean, you don't have to look that far to see what happened before. I don't know whether you can still see my my stocks.
I can turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you see what happened before, you're seeing negative ones. So let's just have a look at, I know any old stock really will probably do us on this one. Let's have a look. There you go. Here's MasterCard. You see that it goes both ways. I mean, there's just one little thing there. So again, going through that 200, and now we'll find a better consolidation on the way down. In fact, I'll show you one just for nothing right here. If you go to the Russell IWM, this is a big one that we had. Look at this. The OVI is already negative at this point. We come down through the 200, we consolidate there. We're already massively negative OVI, and we break down all the way. It's about as poetic as you can get.
Yeah, so with OVI, Rahul, it does work obviously both ways, because we're talking about, the bulls and the bears when it comes to options trading. We're still looking at that big money. They go both ways on that. So that's exactly what the OVI is looking at here. Let's see here.
I have a question.
Congratulations to you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have a question.
Yeah.
It's a slightly off-beam question, but I'm looking, how come, who's been cutting your hair? Because I haven't had a haircut in like 3 months or something, and mine's all over the place. But you look like you've got a pretty good haircut. How did that happen in lockdown?
Yeah, Hunter, who's been cutting your hair?
Greg, the
market. Good question.
It's
Bravo,
like
Guy.
I don't have much there, So, but you look like you're in good shape there.
Yeah, I have a person. Let's just leave it now. So they've eased the rules a little bit here in Utah, and so you can actually go get haircuts, but you have to wait out in the park, and it's a whole thing. But I couldn't stand it. I had to go get a haircut. It was just it was bad, but I got one.
I wanted to shave mine off, but I've got the clippers ready, but my wife's not letting me do it. But I'm literally having to put grease in it, because otherwise it just goes all Einstein at the moment. When I wake up, it's like that.
I'm still behind on another haircut. I had one, over a month ago. I could probably pop a balloon with the amount of grease that's in this right now. So.
Yeah, there's so much grease. I just wanted everyone to know my hair isn't naturally as greasy as it looks. I'm actually putting some grease in it. Otherwise, it's like there.
Let's see. What elements make up your program's ability to detect the options activity that is meaningful? Is it simply a certain percentage change in option volume?
No, it's a great question. It's a combination of things. Persistence is big. persistence. Also, I need to see wiggliness. So if you look at the IWM, let me just show you the chart right now. With the IWM, obviously it's highly liquid. It's the Russell ETF, but wiggliness is good. When it's wiggling around, I know there's volume. If it's not wiggling, there's no volume going in. So I need volume. We're not looking at, we're looking at something that requires activity. Otherwise, you're getting too thinner a signal. Also, looking at the change of behavior is big. Look at this. This here is a big change in behavior. Okay, so the stock has already started to go down. At this point, let's be honest, we already knew there's this big problem going on in China and in certain parts of the world. And we know that logically there's a supply chain issue and something weird is going on in the world. The options traders are starting to get into it around here, okay, with the IW and the rest of the market. So mid-February, it's starting to hit. But this is the low risk time. It's passed through the 200. The leverage is now really rock and rolling, and we just need that next drop down from that break of support in that sense, because all the big money, you can see the markers there. This isn't this isn't an earnings thing potentially necessarily, because this is an index, but the markers are there. The OVI has picked up in a big way. We've passed through a critical moving average. You've got your consolidation. You've got your big volume on the way down this time. So now you've got your red volume bars. Big money's shooting down at this point. And by the way, it's likely to happen again this year, something reasonably similar. So these things are happening all the time. I picked out those stocks today effortlessly. Just literally, it was very easy for me to find those. And that's really all I focus on now. I know there's zillions of different things that you could do in the markets, but you've got to get good at one thing. You got to say, you know what, I'm going to get good at one thing, but have a great reason for getting good at one thing. My reason is I'm following big money, and big money gets it right more often than it gets it wrong. Is it perfect? No. But is it very tradable? Would you be allowed into a casino with this system? Nowhere near. You wouldn't even get in the same town as a casino with the odds that we've got. So we're playing a game of odds and probabilities, and we're just getting really good at one game. When you go to the casino, you get good at blackjack. You don't play all the games. You just become, and by the way, blackjack's the only real game of odds anyway in a casino. Now, I'm not wanting to equate this with gambling, because it's not. This is a probability game that we are phenomenally good at. And of course, we could use it in all kind of different ways, and I do teach it in all kind of different ways too. And we can use it with stocks and options and different option strategies, because by the way, as this breaks down, you could do a bear call spread on it. When it breaks up to the upside, you could do a bull put spread on it on the other way around. So you can do all kinds of things with it. But the main thing is understanding these setups, whether they're bullish or bearish, and just saying, that's my game. Because when you play football, you're a quarterback. You're not a quarterback and linebacker and a scrummager and all those things. You're one thing. The one thing that you focus on, provided it's based in logic, and that's one of the reasons I do this, and has an edge, which is another reason I do this, you'll make more money than being a generalist. So, it's the brain surgeon who on an hourly rate gets paid more than the general practitioner, right? So it's the same with the specialist lawyer, the specialist anything always gets paid more. And it's the same with trading. So avoid the temptation to try and be too many things to too many things. If you find something like this, there you can focus, and there's plenty of opportunities and little variants as well of the same thing, then you can be a master of just this one thing. And using MetaStock searching capabilities to do the kind of things I'm doing, and using my plan, you've got it made.
Well, and one of the things I wanted to add, we have two more questions to get here too, but one of the things that I wanted to add is, you say get good at one thing, and I think that's incredibly important, because this is a system that's not hard to use. I've being in business development, I deal with all of our dealers, all of our international dealers. I look at all of their systems. There are a lot of very, very complicated systems out there to use. And when you start integrating all these different tools and all these different aspects, all these different indicators to look at, all these different conditions to be aware of, it becomes very, very complicated, and it becomes difficult to be good at that one thing. And that is one of the biggest things that has stood out to me about the OVI system, is it's super simple to use. You know, we're looking at a moving average, we're looking at the OVI indicator, we're looking at volume. It's
and
so
earnings.
simple.
And post earnings as well. I mean, look at Goldman. I mean, just a really simple example. And by the way, clustering of stocks is thing, but look at it, just down, consolidates. Look what's happening here already. Woomph. It's happening all the time. And again, I showed you a bunch of bullish examples earlier, but the bearish ones are there as well. But we're looking for low risk setups. It's key. We're not looking to get the absolute high. We're not looking to get the absolute low. What we're looking to get is the low risk entry point, the high probability entry point. And you'll be amazed at how, when you start making profits quickly, even if you don't catch all the move, it's amazing how that compounds pretty quickly. So, and as you know, Hunter just said, look how simple my chart is. That's it. Oh, hang on. There's one more thing you can look at sometimes, implied vol. But that's it. That's the chart. Not much to go on there. Not much needed to go on there. So, you know, make it simple for yourselves. Specialize. It's the key. It's the key. You think of all the most successful people you know about, chances are a high proportion of them are specialists.
And to look, so we did have a question here I want to get to. Actually, two questions. One quick one: have you tested it on the Stock Exchange of India?
Do you know, I think this might be the same guy who tweeted me on Twitter. We only do US markets, and for this reason. The US stock market has the most active and liquid options market, with the most selection, with the biggest companies, and it's tradable from anywhere in the world. And there's just not the liquidity in options or the sophistication in options traders, the institutional activity, the large investor hedge fund activity that we require to build the index, to build the indicator. Because remember, what we're looking at here is intelligent, sophisticated, potentially at times insider trading kind of stuff. That's what we're looking to use to create our edge. And so the US market just suits us perfectly for that.
And to add to that, the liquidity is a big deal. And as the person who asked this question, as Rahul pointed out, there's not a whole lot of liquidity on the MNST as far as options are concerned.
That's right. Not even in the UK either. I mean, it's just so the US is just such a wonderful market to trade. It's there for the long term. Whatever goes on in the US, you know, I think Warren Buffett says it, but you know, whatever happens in the short term, you know, the US is known to have its own gyrations, but you don't bet against it in the long term. There is something about the US culture that breeds winners, but the top winners are stellar. There is something embedded within, no matter what the problems are that you may be having right now or may have had in the past. It's just something about the innovation, the entrepreneurial spirit that creates new stuff all the time. It's an amazing culture for all its issues, and everyone's got issues right now in the world. So I don't need to look elsewhere. There is so much choice. There's almost still too much choice even with what I do in the US. So I have a lot of respect for other markets, the Chinese market, the UK market, the European bourses, the Indian market, but I can't do all things for all people. Again, specialize.
It's true. I agree with you. Let's see. We have a question about stop loss. Does the OVI hint where to put the stop loss like it does for earnings and big money?
No, what it does is that's the trading plan. So the trading plan will that you learn when you join. You get a whole bunch of emails and you can go through all my education stuff. So, for example, when you go into the training vault, you've got the training vault guides. So if you look at the guides here, we're talking about OVI, consolidation, options 101, strategy guides. But you've also got in here, you've got the Training Vault videos. And in the video section, you've got the whole thing. You've got the video tutorials. If I look in here, click on the video tutorials, you'll see the whole bank of video tutorials about not just the OVI. And it says OTC tour, it should say OPC tour, but it's also flags, how to manage your trades, there it is, etc. So it's all there. And you can even see, it still says OTC, it should say OPC, but also you've got the webinar tutorials here as well. So there's lots of stuff there on how we manage our trades. And again, we look to keep it simple.
Now, we did have one last question, and for this, I'm going to have to take back control because I wanted to show this within MetaStock. Let's see here. Hopefully you guys can.
I was just going to show you one thing, but
so with this, hopefully you guys can see my screen right now. Let's see. Make sure you guys can see that. Okay, perfect. So one of the people in GoTo webinar, they wanted to see how the Expert Advisor looked. Expert Advisor in MetaStock, if you don't know, is one of the most incredible tools that we have in MetaStock. And what it does is it breaks down the system for you and gives you all the signals that you need, etc., and kind of explaining you know, the breakdown of the OVI. So I have here on screen Whole Logic, which is actually one of the stocks that Guy mentioned earlier. But here is the OVI in MetaStock, and here is the Expert Advisor commentary. Let's see if I can go into the correct screen. There we go. So it has a little bit of information about the stock itself, the system itself, how to use it. It also says that the OVI has been bullish for the last 15 days, so it's giving you that count of the bullish signal and how long it's been in that bullish phase. As such, the OVI should be used as an indicator of likely direction, and context of trends breakouts can be applied to your trading style. The training videos, it directs you straight to the training videos and the education for the trading plan, because again, there's so many different stocks out there that you can buy. There's so many different buying opportunities, investment opportunities. Once you get the signals with OVI, it's very important that you have that strategic, that trading plan. Otherwise, it's all for naught. You ask any professional trader, any good professional trader, the real secret to making consistent income, and it's going to lie within that trading plan. I think that's very important. So that is it for the webinar. We ran a little bit long, but you know what? I think it was awesome. I think it was an amazing time going through the webinar, going through all of those stocks. Guy said it himself a little bit earlier. There's not a lot of webinars that we have that we're going through actual live trading opportunities and looking at lists, etc. So I hope you all in the audience enjoyed it. Again, easiest way to take advantage of this offer is go to metastock.com/sales chat. The reps in there will be able to take care of you. You could give us a call, 800-882-3040, to get that $100 off per month. You get access to the OVI trading system within MetaStock, as well as the OVI Trading Club, which we did get a glimpse into. And I'm sure that Guy will have you come back in and actually just show the club for a little while in a future webinar, and all the things that it can do, because there's a lot there. I wanted to thank you one more time, Guy. It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
It was a great webinar. Again, congratulations on the new addition to your family.
I'm gonna go and change a diaper now, and the babies.
Sounds good, my friend. Well, stay safe out there. For all of you in the audience, the links are in the chat to click on to take advantage of this. Guy is a real easy guy to talk to as well, so he's always open for questions. We are as well here at MetaStock, so if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you so much for attending today, and as always, happy trading.
Thanks, guys.